Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. Inshallah, today I would like to share some thoughts regarding the 5-hour live stream yesterday, which was on Daniel Haqiqatjou's channel, where he interviewed Mohammed Hijab. I'd like to start off by saying, even though I strongly disagree with some of the things that Mohammed Hijab said in that interview, I do really appreciate how honest he was. I felt like he was very just. He said some very nice things, and he seemed to overall be in a good space in terms of his health. Allahumma barak, which I was very happy to see that, and I appreciate the kind words that he said. And that was particularly refreshing and a nice change of pace considering all the other things that have been going on recently. Mohammed Hijab, rather than pile on and team up with Daniel to blast those who Daniel is calling all sorts of names, Mohammed was pushing for reconciliation. And the reality is, I would love to reconcile. However, the only way to really take steps towards reconciliation is we have to start being honest with each other. I'm well aware of the fact that my video response to Daniel got a lot of backlash. It seemed like many people were expecting and wanting an academic, point-by-point response to everything that Daniel said in his hour-long video. However, the reason I did not make such a response is because the very foundation of Daniel's whole argument, his entire video, is based on a false premise. This entire situation, this entire hour-long video, as well as so much of the rhetoric and back and forth that has been occurring with Daniel over the past few weeks, is completely based on a blatant lie. Daniel has repeated over and over and over again the idea that this whole situation stems from the fact that he saw something evil happening, namely in Saudi Arabia, namely the celebration of Halloween. And all that he did was he spoke out against that. He was fulfilling the obligation of enjoining good and forbidding evil. But once he did that, all of these people started disassociating from him and calling him a Khariji, who's a dog of the hellfire and whose blood is halal. People who he has called
madkhalis, or bootlickers, agents of governments.
And this is what he's spreading to the people to make it seem like he is this innocent individual who is wrongly being attacked by
bootlickers.
Now, this is a blatant lie on multiple levels that Daniel keeps repeating. I actually took my videos of Daniel down on October 23rd, which was a week before Halloween. I explained this in my video response. But unfortunately, rather than acknowledging this, or even addressing the points of dishonesty that I brought up, it's being completely ignored. Yesterday in Daniel's live stream, he repeated the same exact thing that I said was not true.
There's a lot of interesting characters who are trying to take down Muslim skeptic and attack Muslim skeptic for what? For criticizing Halloween. For criticizing Halloween. We're being blasted at Muslim skeptic, and we've had this whole back and forth with a certain group. You might have seen the video we put out about the Madkhali virus.
And you know what's interesting about this entire situation is when I first started my YouTube channel, some of my first videos were talking about, I wouldn't call them Madkhalis, this isn't a term that I would use, but it was about students of Sheikh Rabi'. And of course, I'm not referring to all of such students. However, there are some from amongst them who have made a name for themselves. And during that time, the main point of contention I had was with the dishonesty. Because there was a situation where a group of some of these students went to a scholar, asked him a question, and the scholar refuted somebody. Those students then took what the sheikh said and claimed the sheikh was talking about a different student. This was a clear lie. And I've said in multiple videos, your word is your bond. If you lie, if people can't trust what you say, then what do you have? If you don't have your word, what do you have? So after a student investigated and found that the sheikh was in fact talking about someone else, and those students still didn't retract it, they still to this day are pushing the idea that the sheikh was refuting somebody he wasn't. After that, I said, I can't trust these people. I want nothing to do with these people. So Daniel, akhi, I hold the students of Sheikh Rabi' to the same standard I would hold myself, the same standard I would hold to you and anyone else. We have to be honest, brother. My video response was based on a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, warning against the dangers of lying. warning against being nasty and insulting when you're quarreling with someone. I find it very disturbing that so many people seem to act as if that doesn't matter. It's scary that so many people seem to completely brush all that to the side and say, hey, just respond point by point to his video. As if this hadith I quoted and living according to it practically means nothing. But the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, to many of these people, it means nothing. For example, yesterday, during the live stream, it was uncanny how many people were lying and being just extremely nasty and vile. For example, there was at least one person, perhaps more than one, but at least one who had a fake Sajid Lipum account. And they were giving super chat after super chat. And just for future reference, if somebody has over 100,000 subscribers, there's going to be a check mark next to their name. If you look at any of the posts in the chat, if you look at any of the super chats, even though they copied my profile picture and they put my name, it never had a check mark next to it. But even if somebody wasn't aware of this, eventually the super chats became so ridiculous, it was clearly not me. So for example, I'm not going to read these out loud, but you can take a look on the screen. By then, everyone could tell, oh, obviously, this isn't really Sajid. However, during the conversation with Mohammed Hijab, Daniel said, no, Sajid was in the chat.
Look at his own comments. Because I went on his YouTube channel. Everyone was saying, like, you didn't answer the question. I'll take Daniel's side. The fact that he left those comments on, the fact that he left the video up, wallahi, is actually an act of sincerity for me. Because for me, if you really cared about yourself and your reputation and your ego and all these kind of things, you wouldn't let everyone see all those negative comments about yourself. And on his Twitter, everything negative. Yeah, it must be that he just feels like, I just want to bring it out there and I just want to say my truth and or whatever it is. And that's it. I think it's done with him now. I don't think he's going to come out against you again.
He was in the chat, right? He was in the chat, in the chat of this live stream.
Was he
saying something like, no.
Okay, well, I'm saying good stuff about him.
He paid a super chat. I think earlier in the stream, he paid a super chat saying like Daniel is spreading lies and is like in the chat of this very live stream.
Tell him hi. Hi, Sajid. How you doing, brother? Look what...
Daniel, when you said that, there was a swarm of comments saying it wasn't the real Sajid. It was a fake account. For the sake of argument, let's just say that it didn't occur to you that it could be fake. You didn't see all of the clearly fake super chats coming from an account imitating me. And let's say you missed everyone in the chat saying, that's not Sajid, that's not Sajid. Akhi, this should be very concerning that you have such followers. And this also goes to the point of what Mohammed Hijab was saying about how really my video has been flooded. The comments have just been bombarded with people insulting me, with people praising you. I mean, it is what it is. Let the people see. Let the people see who your followers are. Of course, not all of your followers are the same. However, it's no coincidence that a very large portion of those following you and praising you and supporting you are lying and are spewing filthy speech. Are these the type of people that your da'wah produces? Are these the characteristics you want your followers to embody? Remember, akhi, if you're calling to good, then you're going to get the reward for those that follow you in doing good. But if you're calling to bad, you're going to get bad deeds for those who are following you in that bad. So this is a genuine advice to you, akhi. The dishonesty and vulgarity should be a serious concern. Now, as for the specific points that Daniel has raised in his video, brothers and sisters, none of it is new. Go watch the playlist of Abdurrahman of Knowledge North. Not only will you get a better foundational understanding of these topics, inshallah, but it will also clearly show you the dishonesty of Daniel. Daniel posted this in his Telegram group saying, did you catch this part of the Medkhali virus video? Jahil North made a whole video on his channel some time ago where he accuses the senior Sahaba of being ignorant of the Sunnah. Why? Because those Sahaba opposed the rulers. Look at the level of sheer arrogance, the delusion. This low-life fool thinks he is more knowledgeable than not only the Sahaba, but also the senior Sahaba. People think me calling them bootlickers is harsh. I'm starting to think it's not harsh enough. Brothers and sisters, go watch that video. The problem is, look, Knowledge North's video has 2.9 thousand views. This Telegram post has 8.1 thousand views. And Daniel's video that uses this screenshot to smear Abdurrahman in his video has 132,000 views. Now, do you see why it's so significant to really take somebody's dishonesty seriously? The vast majority of Daniel's arguments were based on straw men to begin with. He's claiming we made certain arguments that we never made. He's claiming all of this is about something that it's truly not. So to wrap up this video, I'd just like to say I would love to work towards reconciling with Daniel. And I think the first step towards reconciliation is Daniel just clarifying for all the people the lies and deception that have run rampant, the false labeling of people, the false accusations of people, the slanderous implications of individuals. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that none of you have complete faith until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. And I would love for my brother Daniel to handle these issues in the dunya rather than waiting until the day of judgment. We absolutely should take ourselves to account before Allah takes us to account. Allah knows best. Thank you for watching. JazakumAllahukhairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.